Welcome to another week of A Friendly Nudge. So this week we're going to make a decadent but pretty healthy dessert. It's figs that are going to be sauteed in butter and honey, and we're going to toast some pecans. And I'm going to have this over some coconut milk ice cream, but you could also use regular ice cream or yogurt. Jude made a recipe with, it was an hors d'oeuvre with figs, and it was stuffed with goat cheese, wrapped in prosciutto, and then drizzled with a reduced balsamic vinegar, and it was delicious. So we're like, okay, what do we do with the rest of the figs? So it's going to be this dessert. I'll make that appetizer another time. We'll have to get some more figs if they're in season. So, what we're going to do is just, kind of trim the figs up. I just rinsed them off. But figs are like real delicate, so it's like even if you have them in the fridge just a couple of days, they seem to get some bad spots. So just going to trim those off, and then cut the stems off, and then kind of cut them down into reasonable sized pieces. I went ahead on some of these and quartered them, but yeah, just trim any of the rough spots off, and then cut them down to a size that you're going to want for serving. So just got all those chopped up, and I'm going to put them in a bowl just so I've got everything kind of ready to go once I start putting stuff in a skillet. And then with the pecans, I'm just going to really in essence cut them in half. I just didn't want whole half pecans. So just going to not do any kind of a real fine chop. But yeah, with these, we're just going to toast them in a skillet. So you can add them to the figs, but then they get they are going to be a lot softer, and I wanted that kind of crunchy texture. So I'm just using a plain stainless steel skillet for the pecans, and then I'm going to cook the figs in a nonstick. And I'm probably using about 2 tablespoons of butter, and then I'll probably put about 2 tablespoons of honey in the skillet. And we're just gonna let the butter melt, and get it kind of all stirred up with the honey. Kind of keeping an eye on the pecans. You're kind of keeping an eye on them, and you're also smelling for it, because you'll start to smell as they start to get a little done. But you obviously don't want to burn them, because then you're going to end up with something bitter, and it's not going to go well on ice cream. But yeah, just kind of keeping an eye on those. We're going to turn them off here in a little while. And then, really with the figs, we're just going to cook them down until they're soft. And, once again, just kind of keeping moving them around. You don't have to flip it. You could use a spoon. For me, it's just a little easier to do it that way. I don't like the skillet for doing a flip, because the sides on it are something I end up struggling with. So I've taken it off the heat. Everything's ready now. And now I'm just going to put them on the ice cream. And I want to get a little bit of the juice in there. I'm using a metal spoon, so I got to be careful with the nonstick, because as soon as I get even so much as a scratch on one of these things, I end up throwing them away. So I'm trying to see if I can get this one to last. But yeah, this stuff was absolutely delicious. You could add cinnamon or vanilla, but I love the kind of the flavors that are here. And you guys have a wonderful week, and play with your food.